This is the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for Friday, the 3rd of January. I'm Michael Groff. It's another day with above average temperatures and dry conditions here in the valley. But today is likely to be the warmest day that we experience for quite some time as cooler temperatures come in here this weekend. And then the pattern turns considerably more interesting as we get into next week. Not only will we see even cooler temperatures, perhaps even below average highs on a day or two, but precipitation chances are increasing across the Southwest. What does that mean for us here in the valley? We'll talk about that, plus a lot of other stuff to get into as well. It's a busy day here on a Friday, but before we can do that, yes, it is Friday, and that means it's Photo Friday here. That's where we take a look at some of the photos and or videos that you guys have submitted. And I guess first up, we'll get to this. As you all know, Michelle is the executive producer of this video, but there's a secret assistant that some of you may not be aware of. And today we're going to reveal who that character is because, well, they obviously want the attribution. So while I am working on these videos sometimes, I am joined by my capable assistant, Freya. Freya loves to jump up on the chair and just sit on my shoulder, sometimes 10, 20, 30 minutes at a time. Sometimes she'll switch shoulders as she just likes to watch whatever it is I'm doing here or just curl up. Sometimes she'll even go to sleep there. And yes, and if I have a video running, another video while I'm preparing these videos, she'll sit and listen or watch it. So that's the secret assistant to this video. And now you know. Cats always want the attribution. So there you get it. All right, now we'll get to all of your photos. This is from David Parnell from last Saturday at South Mountain High School. Of course, high school basketball, not played outdoors, but of course, just a lovely day to be out and about and travel out there. I guess he was there for 12 hours, some big basketball tournament down there at South Mountain High School. Goodness gracious. And we go international here. This is from Zane down in Brisbane, Australia. It is summertime down there, and look at this. Look at these views. Zane always does a spectacular job just sending these photos in. And it's great to see what's happening, not only outside of Phoenix and Arizona or even the country, but all the way in the southern hemisphere. Almost great to see that. Then we got Clayton. This is from, I believe, just before the new year. So he's out and about. Always appreciate these pictures. And then Buck up in Montana. And you know what's been going on up there? Something that we haven't seen much here in the Southwest, or at least not here in Arizona or New Mexico very much, and that is snow. They're getting quite a bit of snow up there across Montana. So good. Again, good to see that. Hopefully we can actually see some more snow coming in here to the Southwest. We'll talk about that in more detail here shortly. But that is Photo Friday. You have any photos or videos that you'd like to submit? groffshow@gmail.com is that email address. It's groffshow@gmail.com for Photo Friday. All right, let's get into it here. The almanac from yesterday. 77 degrees was the afternoon high, 47 the morning low, 66 and 45 are the averages for this time of year. We just missed that record high of 81 degrees from 2012. As we take a look outside right now, just after 9 o'clock, some high clouds out there presently, and we're sitting at 53 degrees at Sky Harbor. Dew points 23, relative humidity 31%. The winds are light, and the barometer is steady. Satellite picture out here across the west shows another system lining up along the west coast, and that's bringing rain and snow from central California on northward. That system is moving east, but as it does, it's going to weaken somewhat. And the tail end of that will move across Arizona tonight, tomorrow, and that will bring about cooler temperatures. But what this system really is going to do is set in motion a chain reaction that brings about a pretty good pattern change here across the west. And that's a beat we can all dance to, right? All right, here's the watch warning map. We've got winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories north of us across parts of Washington, Idaho, Montana, spilling out into the plain states. Look at those winter storm watches. Topeka and Wichita, Kansas City, St. Louis, parts of Illinois, Indiana, Indianapolis, over toward the Ohio Valley, parts of Kentucky. Yes, you could be not only seeing some snow, there could be some freezing rain in there too. It's going to be a big mess this weekend, unfortunately, but I think we'll outline some of those details a little bit more finely later in the video, so stick around for that. All right. Convective outlook for today. No organized severe weather across the nation, but we could see some thunder for parts of Northern California and the Oregon coast. Here's the precipitation outlook. This is valid through Friday morning of next week. Hey, how about this? Rain amounts in Phoenix. Maybe we could see enough rain to measure. Now, I know this isn't really anything to get overly excited about. I'm not going to be dancing for joy. This is not a cause for jubilation necessarily. But considering it has not rained in Phoenix, we have not had measurable rain at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport in 134 consecutive days. Any rain at all is something. And of course, we could see some precipitation over east, central, and southeast Arizona, higher elevation snow, lower elevation rain. And it just sets a pattern, sets in motion a pattern that we're going to talk about in more detail right now. As we get to the models, have a look at things. This is the GFS. It is the 06Z run. This is valid at 2 o'clock this afternoon. We've got a trough for the East Coast. We've got a trough on the West Coast. In between, we've got this ridge here over the Southwest and moving eastward toward the Plain States. Southwesterly flow for us today. So what that means down at the surface, we'll call it partly cloudy, some clouds moving in ahead of that West Coast trough. And it'll be another fairly warm day here with highs about 74 to 77. Again, that's above the average high for the day of 66. And then for tonight, some clouds in the evening will clear out overnight. Lows, upper 30s maybe for the coldest spots. Most of us will be in the 40s. Tomorrow, that weather system does move east, but mainly to the north of Arizona. It will be weakening as it does. The tail end of that feature moves across the region. Not much fanfare with it, but breezy conditions. High temperatures will be cooler tomorrow, though. Upper 60s to low 70s. Probably about 5 to 8 degrees cooler than what we're experiencing today. So that's the start of something, and then we'll continue as we move towards Sunday. High temperatures, again, somewhere upper 60s to about 70. Dry conditions to continue. On Monday, we've got another weather system moving into the Pacific Northwest. This is a notable feature because it's going to be diving southeastward toward us. We've got some rain and snow for parts of the Great Basin, the Sierra, maybe moving into Utah. By Tuesday, that feature continues to move southeastward. We see some precipitation for parts of Nevada, Utah, Colorado, moving into maybe northern Arizona at that point. Again, not much this far south. We're not going to see a lot, but as this system continues to move southeastward Tuesday and Tuesday night, we might just see enough dynamic support to trigger some widely scattered rain and snow showers across east, central, and southeast Arizona, and some isolated showers here in the south central deserts. The key word is isolated. We're not looking at a big, widespread, significant rain event here, but maybe just enough to break that streak of drought, of dry days here in the Southwest. No, this is not going to be a drought buster kind of system, not at all. But one other thing that this feature is going to do is we're going to see a piece of this system, a little piece of energy breaking off, forming into a closed low. And there is pretty good model support for this idea. Now, yeah, the finer details on this are still somewhat in the air, but let's go to Wednesday. The GFS indicates, this upper low developing to our west and southwest, and some moisture hanging around. And if we take the GFS at face value, there could even be some isolated showers in here on Wednesday with clouds and breezy conditions and temperatures, afternoon highs probably in the 60s. I'd say mid-60s for us, both Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, right now, our forecast is tailored around a drier solution. The GFS has been kind of an outlier, albeit a consistent outlier, but recent runs of the European have kind of at least somewhat agreed with this solution, forming some sort of upper low here over the Southwest, maybe in a slightly different position. But so the model trends do suggest at least somewhat unsettled conditions could develop around here middle part of the week. Exactly where that sets up still remains to be seen, though. But stay tuned. We'll try to figure this out, maybe fine-tune this forecast as we go. Let's go to Thursday. One thing that does seem to be fairly apparent is that temperatures will be lower than what we were initially looking at here. And now we've got highs maybe low to mid 60s, somewhere between 61 to 65 for next Thursday. Now, is that dramatically cold? No, but that is below average, at least ever so slightly. So that is possible. And of course, those overnight lows are going to dip well down into the 30s in quite a few locations. In fact, maybe most of us will see lows getting into the 30s by late next week, Thursday morning specifically, and maybe just low 40s for the urban core. Now, is that going to be enough to trigger anybody to need to cover their plants? Maybe not. And again, there's still considerable uncertainty in how this evolves, but right now, it sure looks like cooler temperatures are going to be in here for most of next week. Let's continue. A week from today, this is Friday the 10th. Look at that upper low sitting to the south of us. Now, initially, we were kind of looking at this thing just diving south and then ejecting eastward quickly, but the GFS wants to really hang this around. And some of the recent European guidance and some of the ensemble members in both GFS and European ensembles want to kind of linger this around. If that happens, the low is a little far south for significant moisture advection, but we would have to watch for at least a few showers, maybe just south of us, maybe right along the southern border and across northern Mexico and that ridge to the north. So that's not going to allow that system to move out real quickly anyway. So as a result, we could see some rain. At least some widely scattered showers. So we'll watch for that. And again, temperatures would be down, held in check, at or below average. Let's keep going. This is Saturday, January the 11th. And again, that low is still out here. It's now off of the northern Baja coast, and it could be pulling in more significant moisture if that's the case. And again, widely scattered showers, maybe even scattered showers would take place if the GFS verifies. Now, is this a setup for a really big, heavy rain event? No, but an unsettled weather pattern with opportunities for at least some light to maybe even moderate showers across parts of the state, including here in south central Arizona. That could be in place if the GFS solution verifies. But again, that's a big if. So I don't want anybody to get too excited just yet, but this is something we're seeing more consistently advertised. Again, especially on the GFS, but to some degree on the Euro. Then this is going out 10 days, Sunday the 12th. That system begins to move east as an open wave, but another short wave is dropping in from the north, and that should keep temperatures down. So again, the big message here is at maybe even below average temperatures at times will be favored through most of this forecast period after today. Like to see that. Looking at rainfall for Phoenix off the GFS ensemble. How about most of the members are now showing at least some precipitation? This is not a big amount here. We're talking about rain amounts generally just slightly over 1/4 of an inch. But the Euro is on board with that too, with about 1/4 of an inch for the ensemble mean. There's still quite a few members that show nothing at all. So again, let's temper our excitement a bit. But it is possible now we could see a break in this very, very dry weather pattern and at least have some degree of instability and, coming into the southwest with a fairly dynamic upper low that could provide at least some opportunity for some showers. So an unsettled weather regime could come in. All right, looking at temperatures off the national blend of models. And again, closer to where we ought to be here in middle January, with highs dropping down toward the 60s and overnight lows mainly in the 40s. All right. Now, of course, I always read your comments. Every single one of your comments, they're always read. They're always appreciated. This is from yesterday's video. It's kind of interesting that two people had the same idea. They said our weather's just like Groundhog Day. It's like the movie Groundhog Day, just less variety. Yeah. Well, hopefully that changes as we go into next week. No guarantees, though. And then Bridget Wolf wants to know about the weather in Kentucky this weekend. That cold front coming into Kentucky. And, we talked about it earlier, and we'll talk about Kentucky and generally this winter storm a fairly high impact event for a good portion of the nation's midsection and parts of the Midwest and the Ohio Valley. Check that out again. Those are the winter storm watches for parts of Kansas and Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio, eventually maybe into parts of West Virginia. So, yeah, let's take a look at how that might play out. All right, this is the National Blend of Models. It's a product that we like to use to really sort of vet out how much precipitation there's going to be. And this is the snow output. And this is through 7 p.m. Eastern time on Monday. And the swath of the heaviest snow, pretty much, again, from central and eastern Kansas, around Kansas City, over toward just south of St. Louis, right around St. Louis and south of there, over towards Springfield, Illinois, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Columbus, Ohio, northern Kentucky could certainly see a decent amount of snow. So, yes, that's how it looks. And again, further east, too, into the Virginias and over toward Pittsburgh, a decent amount of snow there, anywhere from 5 to 10 plus inches. Some spots could see as much as a foot of snow in that swath. So this could be a pretty high impact, meaningful snow event there. But probably the bigger aspect of this, the more dangerous aspect of this will be the freezing rain that is a potential here on the southern end of that. And again, freezing rain accumulations, 1/10 of an inch, maybe a little bit more than that in some places. And understand, freezing rain, it is precipitation. You step outside, it is raining, but the temperature is below freezing. So as that rain hits the ground, it freezes and it starts to accumulate. And it only really, 1/10 of an inch of freezing rain, that's enough to bring down power lines and smaller trees and really cause a big mess on the roads. If you get even more than that, it could be a significant disruption. So again, into Indiana and Ohio and parts of northern Kentucky, it looks like there could be some significant ice accumulation, but most of Kentucky could actually see at least a little bit of freezing rain with this. So that should answer that question. Then we look at the temperatures during this time too, and we talked about this pretty good Arctic air push. These are low temperatures on Saturday, again coming off of the National Blend of Models. Look at what's going on up in the Dakotas. Oh my goodness. Parts of North Dakota. Well down below zero. We're talking about minus 10 to minus 20 degrees below, or minus 10 to 20 degrees below zero. Minus 10, minus 20. So, and below zero values all the way down into Minnesota, parts of Wisconsin. And you can see those lows well down in the 20s, some teens in Kentucky. High temperatures. Again, across the northern plain states, staying below zero over parts of North Dakota and Minnesota. And even across a good section of Kentucky. Again, if you get rainfall with temperatures right around or just below freezing, that's freezing rain. And there'll be some good snows going on here too. It really depends on how the thermal profiles line up. This is a really tricky forecast, mind you. I'm sure there's lots of meteorologists in these forecast offices that are just going to be ripping out their hair. But again, look at these low temperatures on Sunday morning. Again, well below zero. We could be talking 10 to 20 degrees below zero for parts of North Dakota and Minnesota, and below zero all the way into parts of Wisconsin. So that's quite cold. But again, lows in the teens and 20s, and across Kentucky, lows in the 20s, chilly. And again, highs in the 30s, maybe low 40s right along the Tennessee border there. And elsewhere, you're talking about highs in the single digits and teens across the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa. So a high impact event, but along that snow band, it's going to be, that's going to be a rough couple of days. A very high impact event, potentially, in those areas. All right, so that's it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. my next video. It's due back here on Monday morning, but of course, updates before that if necessary, should you happen to enjoy these videos. And of course you do. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell, leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you really like what we do here, then show some love. Click that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube and make a monetary contributions to us. $2, $5, $5,000, all of it helps the cause, supports the channel, or you can donate directly via PayPal. That's the preferred method. groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address. It's groffshow@gmail.com for PayPal. Now, aside from Freya, the executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion is my OAO, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation, and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name. It's Sweet Child Arizona, talking about my Michelle. Check her out. Check out her blogs, videos, everything that is Michelle related and tangentially Adriana related. It's all linked up down in the description. Also related, the part of the multimedia empire that we've got going on here is our streaming station. It's available 24/7, 365. It's called KMGX. We play a ton of music. We have a lot of fun with that. People ask all the time, what do you guys do with that station? Well, it's the most chaotic mix of music you'll ever hear. It's a lot of fun. If you want a little sample of what we're playing over there right now, here it is. There you go. And I'm pretty sure some of you really music-minded people knew exactly what song that was, but we can't play any more than that because we will get demonetized. And that's no fun. All right, again, thank you guys so much for watching, all of your continued support. It is immensely appreciated. Please, 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 please be safe out there. And you guys have yourselves a great Friday and a wonderful weekend.